portaling.
I got some new people on tonight that's going to be watching too.
Oh, we're always excited about new people.
Everybody loves new people.
Everybody likes to have new people on the show, new guests, new interactions. We like it. Got it. What is going on, everybody? Just getting the windows popped out. Let me get my chat. Where are we? Hopefully, we're not going to screw this up like we did last week. Power Stroke Tech Talk without A-Rod.
We were trying to go with the show. You were the one that ended it.
Dipped out. What the hell?
We were trying to run it.
What happened? What's up, fellas? So glad to be back. It is Wednesday. Everybody, Himney, what up? Jub, what up? Excited for your three-piece kit, your three-piece set. I want one of those. Yeah, we got some things we're going to talk about after show. If you guys want to hang out with us, we're always kicking it and talking about silly stuff, just being guys. And Zeekster, what up? What up, everybody? Ford Senior Master, what up? I want to talk about fuel tanks. I don't know, for whatever reason, this last week I've been pulling out lots of fuel tanks. I want to talk about some of the things that I saw, some of the things that we're doing. Really cool, kind of expensive, but really, really cool. Another big one, the infamous, well, this is 2.0. You guys see it. You guys are always reading it. Just as part of a Facebook group yesterday, we were talking about some questions some gentlemen had regarding fuel flow and some uncertainty that they have. Somebody's got a new truck. It's not me. We're going to talk about that. But the title, you guys, we have this weekly council meeting, weekly gathering. We are your techs. A lot of people reach out to Ford Boss and Rain Man and myself and Cody, and we're always trying to tie up loose ends or answer a question, just that piece of information to help you guys get to that next step. We are here for you guys. There's a lot of things that we do behind the scenes for you guys, sometimes personal, to a specific individual, but it's fun. It's good meeting all you guys. We have a lot of channel members here on the show that reach out to us, and it's a really, really good community. So with that in mind, if any of you guys listening have questions about your Power Strokes or your vehicle for that matter, we got Rain Man. We have Rain Man, excuse me, that covers a wide spectrum of vehicles. Where Ford Boss and I and CP, we're just predominantly Ford. So if you have Ford questions, if you have other, reach out, hit the comments. We're watching them. Fuel tanks. So fuel tanks. We have been putting in a lot of Krausers in the comments. We did an SMB fuel tank. If you guys remember the video that we did for the SMB transfer kit you can add onto your SMB tank.
Dude, I want to get that
for the 450.
For the 450, I want to go with the 68 gallons, the bigger one.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I gotta say, I had a lot of fun learning how to install those tanks. I'm trying to get certified.
Heck yeah.
PTT certified.
There's a few important things. I'm sure Cody, you probably could find the video. We have a video of doing specifically a Luma Duty. Getting the fuel tank out, you have a big issue right off the rip. And Ford Boss, I'm sure he's done even the gas trucks, Luma duties across the board. For whatever reason, they put a lot of Loctite on the fuel tank strap bolts. That's fine. Okay. The problem, the silly willy J clips that should be are like this. And they're just like this. Well, that Loctite and a J clip fastener retainer like this. And now this thing's spinning. Well, because we have some beefed up frames and they're fully boxed, the J clips are a little hard to get to. Well, Ford Boss might know. It may happen to have happened to him. But if they spin, it's just a pain in the butt. So in the video that I have on the channel, there's a sweet
in
thing
the chat.
Cody's posted a link there. Blue was the color of the Loctite. I have a what was the brand of it? A mini ductor Venom. It is a flameless induction heater, and that is really like the most important thing to make your day go, is to have one of those. Has to be a ferrous bolt, magnetic. You say, why? You could use those on the EGR pipe bolts. Well, you can't, because those bolts are not magnetic. So this type of induction is not going to work on a non-ferrous bolt. Definitely a must-have. The other thing is to familiarize yourself with a series video we have coming up with how to show you guys these tough electrical connectors. I get asked a lot, where do I get these clips for these lines? Buddy, you got to get a whole line. Find out how to do it the right way. Ford Boss and I, Rain Man, one of the things we always have, and it may sound silly, but it's something that I'll find myself not at work and I'll be going to grab my screwdriver. I got a screwdriver and my pen. And it's important to have a little pocket screwdriver to get these little tabs or pop these little clips, and you'll see it'll make that job taking the quick disconnects for the fuel header on top of the tank. Worth every penny. Getting stuck fasteners off, definitely. Kind of expensive.
Cab mounts is where it's at.
Cab mounts, especially when you're doing the rear one. Say the rear one spun, and you got all the carpet and the insulation right there. I mean, you can, and I have. But you have to be a little more careful. You don't want to get the mat gas. And now you got the carpet on fire. You got the smoking in the cab. Outside, bolt, inductor. You'll hear it start popping and sizzling, and that's when you know it's time. Especially if you got the front ones on a Super Duty and they come down and they'll be wet with nasty stuff, and when it's spinning, you'll get plastered with. So you gotta hold on, don't zip it out all the way.
Well, without getting too far afield, long story short, that fuel tank job does have some pitfalls that could really mess you up, really cause a bad day. One of those J clips, ooh. Some of those locations.
What was your favorite part about it? Because it's not not a bad
I
job.
like that. I like that. From what you were saying and from what we saw doing the job, that the trucks don't even really need to be lifted off of the ground. It was interesting doing it with two people, and I'm kind of curious how it could play out with just one person juggling a floor jack around, trying to, work without a second set of hands. How would it go?
It'd go pretty easy.
It can definitely be done. I mean, well, easy for you.
It's a milk crate, 5-gallon bucket. 5-gallon bucket works good.
I've done a fuel tank by myself before. just replacing the sending unit back in the day. Done it.
The 68 gallon, I haven't done a 68 gallon. I'm going to tell you right now, that thing is huge. I've only done the 60 gallon, but when I'm working with the 60 gallon and maneuvering it, and then I'm looking at this, I'm like,
there was a couple things, and tell me if it's in your first video that you did where you pull the sending unit and you keep it level. Like me, I wanted to tip it right away, and you're like, no, don't tip it. Keep it level, keep the fuel in the bowl. That was a good point. Lining up, you know what, I did watch your video. You did show how to line up that cover, that bracket that goes on top.
That's kind of tricky. I showed you in the video where we put the 60 gallon in that 21 trimmer. But it got us when we put it in. I had to take the locking ring back off and just re-index the locking ring back on, so that when you put that little cover, what would you call that, shield? An unnecessary shield?
Does it do anything after the fact? I mean, once the tabs are in place and you secure those 3 10 millis, does that prevent any movement beyond that?
No, I mean, it's
just covering it.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. What else was there? The tank. I like how HSM incorporates their kit to work with the aftermarket tank. So the only ones that we've been doing have been the SBs. I can't speak for Titan if it's going to have a different mounting location or hoses ran differently. But the way HSM has incorporated their kit for the the long beds. So the front bed bolt, they have a bracket that comes off, neat hoses all the way to the frame, jets over and goes down right to the header. I call it the header, but the fuel box where the fuel filter was, and looks really clean. Looks kind of funny when you're putting the tank up. You got the big vent line, and then these 2 lines hanging over. It's got a lot going on. My favorite part of it is using the stock skid plate. S&B gives you little dropped blocks and they give you new bolts, and it allows you to use your factory skid shield. You know, it doesn't touch the tank, still floating, underneath the tank, but it looks super clean. And I kind of want one, but I'm not getting one.
I do like the transfer tank, the transfer pump instead of having a transfer tank. It eliminates that, gives you all the room that you need. Now, that being said, I mean, how many gallons do you have? Because it doesn't go all the way to the bottom.
It allows you to suck out 40 gallons of your 60.
So you get a 40-gallon tank. Now, for some guys, that might not be big enough, but then again, it's also much easier to fill that up regularly compared to
absolutely
having it in the bed. But those bed tanks are like 100 gallons a lot of times, easily. But
and then you're taking up real estate.
Yeah, ton of space. Yeah, ton of space. So for a guy like me, when in the winter I run that salt spreader, I don't want to transfer tank in my bed when I have a spreader in the bed as well.
I don't want to get Ranger Vapes a comment too far up. I would like to see a video of what is acceptable blow by. He says blow by for 6.7 PSD. That's gonna, Millie, stop looking. That's gonna depend between vehicles, between how the vehicle's operated. If you have, for instance, let's say brand new 22, you pop that, go drive it, get out to operating temperature, you pop that oil fill cap off. I mean, you're just going to see, mist. You get a truck, let's say a 18, 19, or I don't care, same, do a 20. But now this motherfucker's got 100,000 miles on it. You take the oil cap off, and I mean, there's going to be a different degree of blow by as the vehicle wears. So, I mean, it's a good video idea. I'm just, it's something I get asked a lot. Guys will usually send me like a little MPEG or some MP4 clip in an email and say, hey, is this bad? Well, it's not bad. What you do not want by any circumstance, Ford Boss did one maybe we were on the live stream and did it, but we pulled the oil caps off, and if you just about before you take it off, if it blows off, brother, that CCV is stopped up. That is no good. You don't want a lot of pressure in there. So I guess I will have to do that. Maybe go between a new truck and a truck that's got a lot of miles on it, so you guys can see. I mean, there's nothing really you're gonna do. I mean, a lot of guys will have how many I don't want to say percentage, but do you see a lot of EcoBoost Rich come in that'll have catch cans on them?
Yeah.
Do you?
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't see too many with 6.7s. Some guys have them removed. Smoking all over the place, and I had one guy say, I can't make it stop smoking. Well, you're not going to make it stop smoking. You just have never seen this. This has always been in your engine. And basically, if you want to know what you would see is if you take your oil cap off while it's running, well, that's what you're going to see come out whatever you do. I mean, it smells awful. But nonetheless, if you are blowing the cap off or you got a lot of pressure in there, we've gone over it before. Look at your boxes, your CCV box, driver's valve cover. I don't know, Cody, what's it got? How many bolts it got on there? 9, maybe 10 bolts holding on. If you have on the perimeter, if you have those, then you most likely have a filter inside, depending on if you are a DRW. They have an updated box that has no more filters. So it's kind of, I haven't cut one open. It'd be a good idea, but usually I have to put these on the trucks and take the old ones back for warranty. It's really light. So I'm only going to assume that's got to have some baffles and, whatever's in there to separate the liquid oil droplets from the vapor, and then the vapor would continue on into the lower intake manifold, which you'll see commonly taking the lower intake manifold off that little pool of oil right there on the turbocharger, inlet. A lot of times the CAC tubes, I just had a local fire department bring in a rescue, and their charger cooler, cold side duct 11 through 16 had a big slash, right through it. Oil underneath the hood. And one of his questions was like, hey, how did that oil get into, in there? Is it supposed to be in there? And, told him what the dealio was, and it's just something that is designed. This is what happens, and the only thing I can say is if your trucks have the filter, either upgrade. So if you have a 6.7, you have to make sure yours doesn't have an electrical connector. If yours did, you can go to the dealership, and there is a recall that was only for certain specific range of trucks. If you guys look it up, 17M04, if you have a check engine light on with a P04DB, it's for the CCV pressure sensor or something or other. They want you to reprogram the PCM, and the PCM no longer looks at that sensor, which I would kind of want to look at that pressure sensor so you would know whatever. But this is what Ford, they want you to do. So what I'm trying to get at is if you get the program where it no longer looks at the sensor, and you get the brand newest 11 through current model year, they're pretty much all the same configuration, the bolt holes and everything. Get the one for the DRW that's got no filter in it and just a pass-through box. I feel you guys may have and no sensor. I feel you guys may have a better time controlling that crankcase pressure, because you definitely don't want to be blowing off the oil cap. Let's see here. Let me go through the comments. You guys were just blowing it up while I was rattling along. 12 edge radio right now. Stop working. Rear lift gate. When it goes down, it comes back up. Oof. Don't get many edges.
You said it goes down and then comes right back up.
I'm fighting a 12 edge right now. Radio stopped working and rear lift gate. When it goes down, it comes back up.
Does he have the power shock that has like the motor built into it, or is it just regular gas shocks?
Let's see if he responds. Good question.
Wasn't there a like relocation of ground for that?
I know the connectors back there where they pass through with that rear lift gate, they end up cracking right there. The motor, they're really easy.
Looks like he says yes.
Oh, okay.
So that was one of the first things I had a problem with. One of the first ones I diagnosed before was that motor was bad, but the next like 5 or 6 after that all came back to the liftgate module being defective.
Gonna have to have probably IDS to do that. Download info, right?
I would think so. If it goes down and comes back up, there's something else as well. The pinch strips back there. If you have cinch strips on the side that detect the pressure's closed, sometimes it won't detect properly, or it'll be malfunctioning as if there is something in the way of the liftgate closing. You have to make sure those strips are clear. I forget on a 12 if they had the cinch strips, the pressure strips on each side. I've had them be defective.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember all the stuff. I've done so much electronics like on the MKCs, the Edges, the Explorers and stuff with that. There's so many things it could be. To go down and come right back up, I would think that it's not getting a signal that it's closed all the way, or something's causing too much resistance and it thinks it needs to open back up immediately.
I wonder if there's like a travel sensor or something that could be messed up, but that would probably be in the shock though, right?
The shock, or if there's pressure strips, 2 thin rubber strips on each side that detect when it's closed, it needs to have a signal from those strips, like a closed signal, saying that it's closed, and it deactivates it. Sometimes those are bad.
Let me see. I didn't see Kenneth. PowerStroke A-Red. You see my question? I want to see your video on it. Kenneth. Let me go up, Kenneth.
And also, here's another thing that you can do too. I don't know if you've tried it or not, but have you just done the regular learn process for that? Open it up all the way manually. Like, I don't even know, manually. Let the lift gate open up and then push it as far as you can to comfortable height. And then hold the close button down for like 5 seconds, maybe 10 seconds. And it'll know the full open position. And then maybe when you close it, it will have a new relearned closing setting as well, because it knows full open, then it'll know full closed. I would try something like that. I bet you it's something simple.
Hey, you guys.
Is that the one you kick?
Yeah.
So,
Guys, you there? Eric O from South Main Auto has an issue with his O2 sensors. Yeah, check the chat.
I'm looking.
Is he in the chat?
Yeah, he just got here. Hey, Eric, what's up, buddy?
Hey, what's up, man?
Oh, there he is. What up?
Great
What up?
videos, brother. You're killing it, man. Been
Hell
killing
yeah.
it for years.
Nice.
I have a car and it runs bad. Should I replace all the O2s?
I was listening to the Topless Mechanic on on TikTok today, and he gave you a big shout out saying that, yeah, you were one of the first people he looked up to when he came into the field as a young guy trying to learn. And now he's an aspiring mobile tech that's doing very, very well for himself, teaching other young guys. And he was like, Eric is one of the first guys that I started watching to learn.
I think that applies to a lot of us.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I follow them. I follow certain people now, but I really didn't know too much about YouTube until a few years ago. And I wasn't really following a lot of people to learn. I think the guy for me is the same one that Aaron knows, Diesel Tech Ron. He was my main guy to go to for everything.
He was. I was fortunate. Remember when we were at the meetup? His son was able to stop
really
through.
nice guy.
That was huge. Diesel Tech Ron just did the same. For me as he did for Rich. Started. Kind of paving the way with showing the right way, or not. I'm not saying the right way for everybody, but the way we do our job, and getting across our message. Hey, Rod's wording on the cardboard. So let me clarify. All of the signs are made by our wonderful guest. Channel moderator Krautster. So if you see him in the comments, you can thank him for the fabulous signs. I like Rain Man's close up. Grab your cigar. That was awesome.
pretty funny.
I chuckled. That was good shit. Bob, Aaron, did you see mine? Asked if you can clean out a DEF system. If it got contamination, you're gonna have to drop the tank and clean everything. If you're just trying to take the DEF out because it's old, I guess you could drain it somehow and then just rinse it out with water. There's not really a way to pump it out, unfortunately.
Petroleum, it's replace everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Where's Joe Diesel? Saw him on here and did a YouTube video and nothing more. I think he's a busy man out in LA. I sent a couple of people who had reached out to me on the West Coast. Guy had drove an hour or something, some reduced power on a 12550. So I don't know. I know he's a busy man. Let me go back up here. What's this guy say? Ooh, evening, guys. Just found out this afternoon my wife's 17 escape needs a trans. Told her on back order. How long is the backlog? Probably indefinite. I'm going to tell you that, and I'm not joking.
Honestly, we've
D99.
been just saying to rebuild them.
D99.
Yeah, our trans guy, he's had an issue getting parts for him as well. So he's been pushing for new units because he can't get parts, but now you can't get new units. So now he's trying to go back to sourcing parts.
It has been a really, really tough to do anything, really, at work.
What about you, Rain Man? A friend of mine said that he's having a hard time finding parts. Well, he was at AutoZone, and the guy at AutoZone said anything after 2015, they're really having a hard time getting parts for, whereas anything pre-2015, they kind of still can get stuff for. Have you experienced anything like that?
Not that I can say on the year, like there's a cutoff of 2015, so no more parts. But I mean, man, it's hit or miss. I mean, sometimes I can get what I want, no problem, it's there, and then sometimes nobody's even heard of what I'm talking about. And if they do find one, it's on intergalactic back order for days. Mm-hmm. It's a nightmare. It really is. And the thing is I'm not dealing with a manufacturer. I'm dealing with all the aftermarket parts houses. So I've got 5 different systems. I've got 5 different supply chains, and all of them are wrong half the time. It's so inefficient. I remember 2 years ago, I could pick up the phone and get something in 7 minutes. And now they order it and they place the order online. They say it's going to be here in 3 hours or whatever. You call them the next day and they don't know what you're talking about. Like things are just getting lost left and right. I mean, it's more than just actual parts on hand. The whole system is just upside down.
So do you deal with like AutoZones and O'Reilly's, or what kind of parts
Yeah,
stores do you?
O'Reilly's and Napa. I mean, we'll get something from AutoZone if it's not first choice. You know what I mean? We like Napa parts, we like O'Reilly's parts, but it's being retail. We kind of play the, who can get it here or what's available game. I mean, O'Reilly's might have 4 of one thing, and AutoZone hasn't had that specific item in oil filter for months. So it kind of just depends on their individual supply chain too. So it's a lot of chaos from what I'm dealing with right now, and it's frustrating. I waited 2 hours today for a battery cable connector. I had to have one. Yeah, I didn't have any more in my stash. Nobody in town had one, and the closest one was about an hour drive away. But the parts house said they couldn't get it to us until tomorrow afternoon. So we had to drive over there just to go get a little $4 connector. Yeah, it's wild. But that's kind of the reality. And I'm sure not everybody's experience is like that, but right now that's what I'm going through. And you kind of roll with the punches and get through it.
I think the hardest stuff that we're finding right now is getting after treatment stuff, whether it's NOx sensors, particulate matter sensors. Hell, 22s aren't even being shipped with particulate matter sensors. I had a brand new tremor. I had to PDI, put a winch on, and I'm like, oh yeah, 22s didn't come with PM sensor. I lay underneath it, boom, doesn't have PM sensor. Well, yeah.
How is that?
I mean, I know they're supposed to. They don't have them, so you have to wait. Fuel check-in.
But my biggest moneymaker lately, and honestly, is not new vehicles. Even though I've had some new vehicle issues and a lot of electrical problems, it's been other dealerships and other shops' mistakes. That's my biggest moneymaker right now, is fixing other people's mistakes, and it's pretty sad that I have to say that and be proud of it, but it's paying the bills and I'm fixing them. But it's just competency when it comes to other shops and stuff like that in dealerships. I've been doing a lot of that stuff, and I don't know, it doesn't make me happy, but at the same time, like I said, it pays the bills.
True that. Another upper oil pan gasket. All right. Hey, at least this guy got it done. Should I take it someplace else or drive to Michigan to visit you? Yes, come. But that's a damn shame.
Yeah.
It really is. Yes, you can. You can also go someplace else. Absolutely. It's not rocket science. Usually the leak is the front T joints, and you'll see the whole bottom of the upper oil pan just covered. And there's nothing more to do than to either one, replace the upper oil pan, or what we do is we'll have a bunch of ones that we have already done, cleaned and ready to go. So we'll kind of just swap them and rotate them. But yeah, that sucks. And then you got to worry about, a lot of them I see will have, when you mate these things together, you have to do it a certain way. You can't just like, it's not, if it's oozing out the sides like that, man, what do you think it's doing on the inside, man? Come on. You can't, there's a certain way to do it. And
how do you do it?
Well, preparing the foundation for your silicone is going to be number one, and cleanliness is got to be number one as well. Those baby wipes, those metal surface preps, I use a razor blade, those Scotch-Brite pads, and 11 through 16, they suck. But the Illuma-Duties, actually Matt, if he's on here, no, gave me a good idea, and I'm able to jack the engine extra higher on the Alumaduties, and I can actually get my electrics in there and get all the bolts. So it's a little better to do on the Alumaduty. But preparing the sealing surfaces, what I really like to do is pull the vehicle in, first thing in the morning, start ripping everything out. Boom, 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 boom. Go to lunch, come back, put it all back together and let it sit and let that silicone cure. And yeah, I've been pretty successful with
before you secure it down,
yeah.
instead of securing it down when it's still wet. Wasn't there a type of silicone too?
Yeah,
A certain
the TA31, it's real important. I'm finding the TA357 is not diesel fuel vapor friendly, and it likes to eat at TA357. You got a gas job? Be my guest. No problem. Front cover? No problem. Oil pan? No problem. Diesel? No. I wouldn't be using TA357 on any Power Stroke for that matter. So
if you go to the dealer, what are the odds that you get TA whatever one you don't want?
you're going to go into the dealer and say, I know what is supposed to be used. I am going to give you this $20 bill to purchase TA31. And I want you to tell your tech, the stuff that Ford gives you, throw it in the garbage. I want you to use this.
Dude, that's scary stuff.
Here you
Man.
Our
go.
diesel guy has been using, he likes the Napa Ultra Gray, and he doesn't have any of them coming back leaking. He does
Yeah.
not use the diesel silicone that they say to use, because he finds like 10, 15,000 miles later or sooner, they're already leaking.
I don't want to do an upper oil pan. You're killing me, Smalls.
Dude,
I don't want to do an upper
guys-
oil pan twice.
I'm sorry, I got to interrupt you again. Eric is killing me. Like he gives me this extended warranty thing over here talking about emails, and I'm like, I'm dying trying to not bust out laughing, and I'm over here doing it. I'm trying to hide in the dark and laugh and muting the audio. It's like, dude, like he's long range trolling me, and it's funny, and I can't be mad about it.
Ultra Gray is
Seriously.
the bomb.
What's
I
he saying?
use TA31 on everything. Diff covers, everything. If you don't want it to leak or ever come apart, that is the stuff to use. Because it won't. I mean, you have to destroy a 7.3 oil pan just to get the thing off.
It sets up quick. You got a boogie.
What's
I've worked-
he saying? What's Eric saying?
Oh, he's just busting his balls.
Yes, no comment. You have to remove the engine on the 20s and up
Oh man, that's awful. Yeah.
Or what?
to
For the
change the oil
20s and
pan
up?
gasket.
On
Super Duty 6.7.
Isn't that just silly?
Well, that pump is huge.
I know, but come on, man.
Hey, they're gonna pay you to remove it. Remove it.
Whatever. Whatever. Yeah, you're right. I just think it's kind of silly to take that out.
It's same with the oil pump right now. If the oil pump fails, or if the solenoid fails, you change the solenoid. You got to pull out the motor basically to change the solenoid,
Mm.
then put it back in. Then, if it still fail, you got to put a pump in it.
Wait, you
Pull
mean
it
to
out
tell
again.
me the solenoid that's by the starter?
Yeah, they say you can't get it out.
You're kidding me. For real?
It's like between the K frame and the.
What?
No,
Wow, I didn't
it's
know
kind
that.
of funny. 20 and above, Ford has went to both the Explorer also to reseal the oil pan, get to pull the engine.
Dude.
They sent me I was talking to one of the engineers, and I was like, am I reading this correctly? When you're talking about pulling the engine out of 2.3 EcoBoost just to reseal that little oil pan, and they were like, yeah, that's the procedure now. You have to pull the engine. I got to looking at it closer and I added some dye to the oil, and luckily it was just the front cover that was leaking and not the oil pan, because it was leaking right above where the seam was at. And I was like, I don't want to reseal the front cover on this thing and then tell the customer to leave and come back and we'll check the next oil change. And then all of a sudden it was the oil pan. So I resealed the front cover, ran it for a while myself, and it never came back. So I got lucky there that I didn't have to pull the engine on it. And it's sad that a lot of these vehicles with 4,000 or 5,000 miles on them already leaking like that. It's just silicone. That's the only thing that seals them.
Just a shame. Just a shame.
Now, when you say oil pan, are you talking about just like the lower oil pan?
No, the upper oil pan. You
Oh, the
silly
upper
goose.
one. No, as I was thinking, because I know you were showing that aftermarket one that has a higher capacity and the updated drain plug that actually gets all the oil out of it. And I was hoping that wasn't the one, but it's the upper one.
You can get one of those PPE pans.
We will see. Let me go here to let me go here to my email. Should be looking at a picture. Here we go. Let me look at this upper oil pan. We're diagging on the fly. Okay. I see oil on the outside of the engine. It's supposed to be on the inside. Okay. Let me look. He sent 2 pictures.
Check.
All right. I just got done talking about this, so that would be the T-joints area. Yeah, that looks like that's oil out on the side of the engine. It's going to get worse.
And that'll cost you about $4,500, and we'll reseal it for you.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah. So to answer your question, yeah, it looks like somebody's probably not wanting to do an upper oil pan, buddy. I'm sorry.
Did you say that's $4,500?
I mean, I just threw it out there, but yeah, I mean, what is it? To pull and reseal that, Cody, isn't it like 30 hours or something like that, or 27
Yeah,
hours?
but if you're doing just the upper pan, it'd probably be, between $2,000 and $3,000. I haven't looked up what, the upper pan cost is, but I personally like to replace them with the new. That's just me. I was told long ago by an engineer working on the 6.7 program that says replace the upper pan.
I mean, I said something about that.
You ain't gonna tell me.
I got hammered online because people are like, "Oh, you can't. It's a resealable and everything else." Like, guys, look, it doesn't work that way. Every one that we've tried to reseal comes back leaking. It doesn't ever end up right. That's why we replace them. And a lot of these guys, they just don't get it.
Well,
A lot of times you just get damage coming off anyway. So
yeah. Yep.
What does he say? Let me go right back up. Oh, blue pill. No. Blue. S&S blue. Blue's my favorite color.
Mine too.
2.0. Right now, all 133 of you guys rocking the PSDs, 136, you guys rocking them. You guys got 2.0, you got 2.1. This is something that's been hot right now on Facebook. I've been getting tagged in. So has Luke, by the way. He gave a great comment and really good info in one of the Facebook groups, and we need to get them on and talk about the things that they saw during the teardown of their CP4 that they intentionally destroyed. Right now, I am in production of the 2.0 to 2.1, showing you guys, if you're unfamiliar or unsure of your automotive skills. Super easy, and I think you guys are going to enjoy that. It really complements if you have the HSM excuse me, upper fuel filter manifold, their header for the 2.1 looks really nice side by side. I'm not going to need these anymore. So I have a couple of them in inventory. And if you guys are not interested in going to the 2.1 Donaldson, let me know, give me an email. I might try to off these to one of you guys, and it's not going to really do me any good. And I don't want to throw them out. So let's see what we got. You guys are already going 2.1, 2.1.
Ski-Doo has
2.1 on
2.0.
deck. Yep. Yep. 2.0, 2.0. Do I need to change my rear diff fluid more often with a lift on a truck? I mean, not really.
Unless you're submerging it.
Yeah, I'd be running, quality fluid. 2.0 times 2 and a 2.1 weighting. It's turn in the filter change line. Oh, got 2.0. Okay. Bartow, you got the 2.1. By the way, I have all your parts. And I'm glad I saw you because I totally forgot to let you know that. It will have to go to the body shop afterwards. So maybe let's coordinate where you can have your truck, be with us for a minute. But I will have to take that sunroof glass out. And the new trim piece looks pretty A1. So I'm excited for that, or for you to at least have one on the side of your door. So thanks for chiming in. You reminded me. Noise. Skidoo. I figured I'd bring work you would want to do it. Yep, warranty or not. Shoot me your VIN, Project Amateur, and I will look and see what coverage you got. And yeah. Let me go here really quick. Yeah, parts. Got me on tilt. I don't know what you're talking about, Crowdy. 7.3 PSD. Who got a 7.3 PSD? Who in here has an OBS 7.3? Somebody.
I got Dose.
He's got do what?
Got Dose.
A dose. What did you just get? That's worth talking
parts.
For free.
I got a parts truck.
Got a free truck. Somebody got a free Power Stroke today. I mean, come on.
I don't know much about it yet. We'll have to see. I know it last ran in 2016. So we'll see if it still runs.
Dude, that'd be a cool project truck. I mean, just to make some videos. You know what I mean?
Project to dismantle and save the usable parts because it's from Michigan.
Oh.
So, I mean, interior, wiring harnesses.
What year is it?
97.
Oh.
Same thing. It's exactly the same truck as mine. Extended cab, 97, 250, 4x4. I don't know if it's a manual or automatic. Hopefully it's a manual, so I have a third transmission.
Did she say the mileage?
No.
We have unknowns. We have a lot of unknowns.
A lot of unknowns. There's going to be a video on it. Don't know if it's going to be on my channel or Aaron's. Probably Aaron's because my computer's in Florida. So
2017 Super Duty gets random TPMS faults replaced. Sensors, but fault will just come on randomly 30 minutes. Driving can force scan, deactivate it. Yes, it can. Turn it off. Or fix it. Or turn it off. And be done with it. Very easy. Simple. Also, got a 6.4 Power Stroke. Doesn't want to start. Cranks, but no explosions. Then the batteries die. Hmm. Well, I don't know what it's in, but I'm gonna take a guess that it's probably in a wasted state. And it's probably gonna be time for an engine. So before you do any tearing down, do your rental compression test, blah, 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 figure it all out. But tell this customer that if he's gonna wanna do anything, it's gonna cost him 20 grand. Because the only way you're gonna fix it is put a long block in it.
Remove 6.4, insert 12 valve P pump,
Or that.
call it a day.
Problem
How much would that cost?
I don't know. Ask Mr. Chaplin.
Seems expensive.
It's going to be cheaper than a 6.4 long block or complete.
There's a big metal adapter plate between there, right?
It's only $1,000.
Okay.
I mean, the most expensive part's going to be getting an engine. And it's just all the little crap that goes around it. I personally just put a 12 valve in and be done with it.
Hey Ray, what happened to that car you bought at your garage for $100?
It is still sitting in the parking lot. It is. It's been sitting there for about 6 months or so. It needs an engine. I want to put one in. The problem is I don't want to go to work on my day off to put an engine in a Toyota Camry, and I just can't find the time to do it. So it's there, and it'll happen one day, but it's in rotation.
Do you have the engine for it already?
No, I need to get one. Long story short, this
You're gonna
car.
pull it?
No, you guys gotta understand something about this car. This car showed up. It blew up on the interstate just driving through my town, and no oil in the thing. The guy just rode it, no oil, blew the thing up, and it was in such bad shape that I wouldn't even get inside of it. The thing had an entire ecosystem of creatures living inside of this car. And this kid's at my shop. He kind of needs his car fixed. He's on the phone with his mom, and they're going to come from out of town to come try to get this thing fixed. And I already know it needs an engine because it has no oil on the dipstick. I ended up, and my first thought was, we cannot fix this car. I'm not bringing this into the shop. I'm not transferring the ecosystem from this car into my house. So that's where I got the idea to buy this car. I'm like, I'm just going to buy this from this guy. It was $300, not $100. I was like, I'm going to buy this car from this guy just so I don't have to bring it into the shop. I mean, it was actually that bad, and I'm not kidding. And I don't mean to bash the guy, but man, this thing was bad. It took about 3 months to kill all the creatures inside of it. I just kept throwing bug bombs in, like every couple of days, another bug bomb.
Wow.
All of them. It took months and months. And I got to looking at it, and of course, after he gave me the title, he cleaned all the stuff out, and I'm looking around, and it wasn't that bad. I mean, the thing had decent tires on it. It's like 160,000 miles or so. I mean, it was an old Camry, but it wasn't horrible.
Whatever.
It's worth a couple grand if you just put a $1,200 engine in it and have a nice day. So it's just on the back burner. It's hanging out. It's waiting for a slow day.
Was it a V6 or a 4-banger?
No, a little 4-banger. Nothing special.
R-part.com for an engine.
It'd be a good commuter car right now, but I mean, it needs gone through, and I'm talking the kind of restoration where you have to pressure washer the interior.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like that. You pull the carpets out, pressure wash it, maybe buy some new seats.
That bad.
It's got potential if you want to do it. I don't want to do it.
I would just price out to have a detailer come and do it. A guy that does that.
He's like, I ain't gonna want to do it.
Yeah, but then I still have to put a motor in a car, and I just don't have time to do it. That's why it's there.
Oh, it's called a crusher.
Well, I wanted to, but my audience got super pissed because I was just going to smash it. Yeah, I was going to pull the motor out of it and just do an autopsy on it and then smash the rest of the car with like a front loader or something. And they got super mad at me for it. They're like, no, you need to fix that car and donate it. Don't waste it. And I'm like, all right, guys.
Donate it. What?
They wanted me
to
donate, give to Goodwill or something like that, and which is all fine. I mean, I'd love to do that. I just don't have the time to get around to fixing the car. So they won't let me crush it. That's the thing.
Crush it.
I thought it'd be cool to run it over with like a John Deere 323, and they won't.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, they weren't happy about
Dude,
that.
it'd be really cool if you fixed it up and gave it to like a person in need and like personally delivered it to like a person that really needs it.
See, that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
That's what
It'd
they
That would
be
be
want.
awesome to do it.
that'd be sweet. So then you got to get a guy to come in and detail it,
Yeah.
and then go through that whole process, and then throw an engine in it.
Yeah.
Here's a
it's-
good question from, I'm sorry, Rayman.
Oh, no, go ahead. Go ahead. You're all right.
From Josh, Ford Boss. Does the same, this is the first time that somebody's ever asked me this. Does the same dealer that diagnoses a warranty issue have to be the same dealer that replaces the item? Local dealer sucks in every way, but don't want to drive 2 hours for diagnosis. Good
Yeah, well,
question.
yeah, because what they'll end up doing is they have to open and close that ticket,
Yep.
and because that ticket has to be open and closed,
And submitted.
and submitted, they're gonna want to see the repair. All the information's got to jive. It ain't gonna work.
Yep.
You're gonna have to
Yep.
let them, or you're gonna have to travel somewhere else.
Yep. It's a bummer. The repair has to be completed and closed at
We got to write
at that.
stories. We have to
Yep.
justify why, if a pinpoint test isn't working for us and we found it this way, Ford's okay with that. They've been very open with that lately. They've become way more lenient in that area, but they said justify it. Tell us why. So that has to come from the guy working on the vehicle and his process from start to finish and how he came up with this. I've never had a single claim bounced other than one, and it was because I didn't understand the SSM. Because I'm the one that started it, I'm the one that finished it, and I write my stories very, very, very articulate when I write my stories, and they love that. They never say no as long as everything's in that story and you can justify why you did it. Now, two different dealers, it ain't gonna work.
I wish, but no. Well, at least for your guys' sake.
Let me ask you
Um,
guys this: for guys who buy these trucks, I got the 450. Most of the guys in here drive a 250, 350 diesel truck. When we choose a dealer, should we choose like a Bill Brown because they have the fleet center and they deal with a ton of trucks? It doesn't matter. Like the local one near me, it's all cars.
It's kind of hit or miss. So this is a topic that I've wanted to make a video on. We have a few dealerships around us. Nothing wrong with those dealers, but a lot of those older guys that were worth, their weight in gold or whatever they say, however the term goes, they're gone. A lot of young guys now, a lot of guys that have been in the field, have not been in the field for a while, and a lot of guys that have bounced around from shop to shop and just never planted their roots anywhere to really get some of that good long accredited experience. So a lot of people will go to these dealers and they're expecting this outstanding service, and when they get bounced around, a lot of the vehicles lately have come from other dealers. And I tell people, look, I hate to say this, but a lot of those other dealerships have had techs in and out of those dealers for a long time. You look at my dealer, these guys have been there for 20 years, 25 years, 30 years. These guys have been there for a long, long time. And that in itself really shows something for, how well they're willing to retain their employees. So a lot of people come to us from other dealerships now because they don't like the service they're getting. They don't like the quality of how it's being managed or whatever it is. And it's not for me to talk bad about them, but that's just the cold hard facts. You got to shop around. It is a window shopping experience. And unfortunately, it is what it is.
So are you saying it's not so much our trucks being serviced here or sold here, is more how is the experience, what's the experience in the shop, what kind of culture is in the shop, what kind of retentions are there as far as techs?
100%. Volume does help because we get to see more of the same thing to confirm what we're seeing.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times that can help us, but really at the end of the day, it's how many techs do you have in this shop that have been at this location, that have been really, really, really digging deep, trying to become better and stuff, sticking it out through all the frustration, through all the madness. And those guys are the ones that I want working on my vehicle. Those guys are the ones that have the stability to continue to have a sound mind that I trust working on my vehicle. Not everybody's that way, because I know a lot of good techs that do bounce around because they chase the money, and they are good techs and they do deserve the money that they're getting. Yeah, I'm not. So it's hard to say it without making people think badly or think that I'm saying something badly and it's not. The safest bet is a shop with techs that have been stable there, that have been put through training, that show a consistency of fixing it right the first time, or fixing it. A lot of the reviews. Not don't look for a YouTube guy like me that has 500 reviews on the company page, but reviews. Block out the sales department and try to go to a dealership and look at their reviews on their service department. All of them are not going to be good because there's a lot of customers that want things handed to them and given to them. But look at the reviews, see how many people have been handled appropriately and gotten taken care of, and maybe go off some honest service reviews. It's not value, and it's not how large the scale of the dealership is. It's how that dealership makes you feel and how they address your concerns when you are there. So it's kind of hard to answer this.
One of my customers is just chiming in. Cody, I had a dream you all created a nationwide network of techs, all with YouTube channels. That's funny. We're on this subject because that's exactly what we're in the middle of doing. And somebody had earlier commented what happened to Joe Diesel. He is in our network. We have him on the West Coast in LA. I know if you're north and a little farther east, it may be difficult, but we have the East Coast pretty much handled. Ford Boss is a little more central in the Chi-Town area, can handle more of Midwest, but we don't have anybody in like the Texas region or in the middle of the country, and I want to be able to provide you guys, hey, we collectively have decided so and so does work like us, great work ethic or whatever. You may see him on the live stream. Hey, go see this guy. But it's slowly growing and is only going to get bigger because it's important to be able to, when you take your truck in, to feel confident, just like Ford Boss was saying, trust who you're going to be taking the vehicle to, or have some faith, that somebody's going to take care of your concern and not just, shoo you under the mat. This thing's not leaking oil. What are you talking about? Just shoot some brake clean on it, kids.
It may take a couple times.
Come on, man.
Sometimes it's not the first shot, but we're not going to give up on you. And that's what I tell my customers. I may not find it the first time, but I'm going to be fair with you and I'm going to be honest with you. I may need to see you several times of me making adjustments to your vehicle to figure out where I'm going with this. And that's why I have these guys. That's why this network is so huge to us, because if Aaron needs something, he knows he can pick up the phone and call Cody, me, Ray, whoever it is. If I need something, I don't hesitate to call them at all. And having this at my disposal means more to me, because I can take care of the customer almost like that every single time when I'm being frustrated, just talking to a couple other guys. At the end of the day, hey, I'm dealing with this problem. Let me hit you up real quick. Just listen to what I got to say. Let me hear what you have to say. And by the time everything comes together, it's like, there it is.
I heard an older tech. I was actually cutting his hair yesterday. One of my coworkers. And he was talking about the message boards, which is something that internal Ford techs can talk amongst themselves. I think we were talking about it one time before. And he had said, a guy was on there bitching from another dealer, they had figured out how to do something or reseal the top of the PTU Ford Boss on an Explorer because water's leaking down and filling up with the diff and it's getting all milky or something. I can't remember if it was an Explorer or something. I don't know. But the guy was ticked because Ford was watching the message boards and now created a TSB and is going to pay you 2/10 to do what these guys were saying. And he's like, why are these guys, I'm just paraphrasing what he was telling me. I'm not verbatim, why are you guys saying this? You're just ruining it for us. I'm not saying shit.
Mm.
That's such a bad attitude. Although Ford is not paying us a desired or what we would want, and sometimes it's BS. I'm going to tell you if they're listening, and sometimes it's BS. It is what it is. I don't know what to tell you.
I can tell you, why the 3.0 turbo pays so great. Mr. Mike
sucks.
No, Mike. The engineers watched Mike change a turbo on it at Roush, and that's the procedure they used and cut the time in half.
That's not cool. That's not cool. But the fact that that guy, that other tech, wouldn't want to say something, it's like your whole sole purpose here is to get this guy's truck or this Explorer or whatever the hell you're working on. The only thing I care about is what I touch, and is these Power Strokes, these Super Duties. And it just kind of like, I wish I could have reached out to that guy. And it's like, why you got such a piss poor attitude? Is really how I'm looking at it. Like, I think that's kind of bullshit that you're just gonna, oh, I'm not gonna say nothing because they're not gonna pay me. Well, you know what, dude? I think it's time for you to hang up your shit and maybe start thinking of another profession to do, because we're here to serve this customer, our customers, and you're just ruining it for your store, for the people's vehicles that you're going to act. Because the one vehicle you're doing this, I'm going to say you're probably going to be like that with all the other vehicles. I hate to pass judgment, but I'm just gonna, your actions just speak louder than words.
What it is, dude. I mean, there's a lot of these texts I find they're just very disgruntled. They're very angry. They're very, I don't know.
Time to hang it up.
I don't know if it's because they've been so tired of it for so long that this is just the reason why they are that way. But a lot of them are just angry, man.
Flat rate turns people into crusty old men. That's a good statement. I like that. Reflect. That's good.
That's like that guy today that I was telling you that was like, he had the nerve to say something to me. And he's like, well, I think it's so bad that you guys are talking about SSMs and TSBs and safety recalls and all this other stuff, because it's not right that you're putting out this information. And I don't think Ford would be happy with it. And I don't think the other dealers and stuff. The problem is you're thinking and you're hurting yourself while you're doing it. And I'm not sure how much longer you have until your brain cell is done and gone. But in case you haven't noticed, we're some of the bigger names out here in the industry under Ford, not content creators, but under specific brands, and by no means bragging about it. They watch our stuff. We literally talk to them. I post my YouTube videos in the hotline section, for God's sake, so they can see the repair that was done on something. Hey, when you found that electrical repair, what did you find? How did you come across it? Well, this is why the pinpoint test didn't work, and this is how I did it, and this is what confirmed it. Oh, wow, that's neat. Thanks. I appreciate that. Thanks for the video. It's not like they don't know. I'm not stealing information. And the guy was so mad that I would help customers out and help other techs and stuff like that. And he was just so disgruntled about it. And then he came back while we started the live stream. I peeked at the comment, and he was like, well, I'm worth 180 an hour, and you're basically taking that credibility away from me by helping other people. And that decreases my rate or my worth per hour. So I don't appreciate that. What a jerk, man. What a jerk.
Doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't. Dude, what you guys do is so hard. You know what I mean? The stuff is so hard that not everybody's going to do it. Not everybody's going to be able to turn a wrench or, fix the electric, do some of the diagnostic stuff that you do as far as electrical work.
And it's the networking that we do is key for all this. It helps the customers. It helps the manufacturer. It helps us. We can communicate and talk about the industry and try to make things better. That's what it's all about. And I had a guy the other day reach out to me, and he said, hey, I'm working on an 11 or a 12 Econoline. And I think I've got a plugged evaporator core for the rear. would you be able to help me out with some information? Because mine stops at 2010. And I was able to pull up the information and help him out and confirm that, yes, the 11 and 12 model still is a non-serviceable system for the expansion valve. It's built onto the evaporator. It has to be changed as a unit. And that just helped him out so much because he was like, you know what? I thought that was the case. I didn't have the information. Dude, I'm so happy that I was able to talk to you about all this. And he was like, this extremely helped me out. Now I can get the customer the vehicle back and they won't be so upset. It's stuff like that is the reason why I do it. I'm not trying to decrease somebody's value by helping other people.
It's exactly it. Like, all we care about is making money and providing for our family. But
That's
is
the main purpose.
getting your truck and your cars back to you. I don't want to hit the shit in my shop. I don't want my truck someplace else. Hell, I got to take my Chevy here to the dealership to get the Takata airbag recall, and I'm like, I'm on the other side of the fence now. I'm like, man, what's this guy fucking doing in my truck, man?
And you know it's, hey,
I'm doing this.
It's souped up, it's fast, it's
Yeah,
got this cool
Christ.
stuff done to
I
it
ain't
now.
even gonna take it in. I'll let the next guy worry about it. Christ, I don't even want to deal with that. Well, fellas, I think we'll end it here. This has been a really great show. There's some things that we didn't even talk about. We will talk about next live stream. Voiding your warranty. You guys might want to stop by for that. We're gonna probably talk heavily about that because that's something we get asked a lot about. Is this S&S gonna void my warranty, my ESP plan? Is my S&B filter, is my S&B tank gonna void my warranty? Is my air freshener hanging from my mirror gonna void your warranty? We're going to talk about it. We're going to give you guys the lowdown. I appreciate you stopping by on the little one. Hey, Ford Boss, keep the games. DST, I know you're sleeping. Oh, he comes out now. Look at him. CP, everybody, we'll talk to you later. Thanks.